Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that Arsenal quietly completed 2 signings during deadline week, moves that went almost completely unnoticed until the window shut and the dust settled. At a time when most attention was fixed on high-profile chases, loud rumours, and rival clubs scrambling in public, Arsenal chose a different route: silence, precision, and timing. According to Romano, both deals were wrapped up away from the noise, finalised in the closing days of the window, and only became clear once everything was already done. No leaks, no drawn-out saga, no media circus, just business. The revelation has shifted the narrative around Arsenal's January window. What initially looked like a quiet, even frustrating period for supporters has suddenly taken on a different shape. Instead of reacting emotionally to pressure or chasing short-term excitement, the club appears to have identified specific needs and addressed them discreetly. Deadline week signings are often associated with panic, but these do not feel like panic moves. They feel planned, patient, and intentional, suggesting that the groundwork had been laid long before the final week arrived. This approach fits neatly into the broader evolution of Arsenal under Mikel Arteta. Over recent seasons, the club has moved away from impulsive recruitment and towards a model built on control, controlling profiles, wages, age curves, and dressing room chemistry. Keeping deals secret until completion reduces interference, avoids inflated prices, and limits the influence of rival clubs. It is also a sign of confidence in internal planning, in scouting, and in the belief that not every move needs public validation before it is finished. While the identities and exact nature of the 2 signings are still being clarified, the importance lies less in the names and more in the message. Arsenal are thinking in layers. The first team is no longer treated as a fragile structure where one injury causes collapse. Instead, depth, flexibility, and future readiness are clearly priorities. One of the deals is understood to provide immediate reinforcement or cover, while the other is likely a strategic addition, either a young talent, a developmental profile, or a deal structured with the long term in mind. These are the kinds of signings that rarely dominate headlines but often prove decisive over a long season. For fans, the reaction has been a mix of surprise and renewed optimism. Many had resigned themselves to a static window, especially after heavy spending in previous periods. Romano's confirmation flips that sentiment entirely. Suddenly, the club looks alert rather than passive, proactive rather than cautious. It reinforces the idea that Arsenal are no longer operating hand-to-mouth in the market, but rather moving like a club that knows exactly what it wants and when it wants it. There is also a psychological edge to this kind of business. Rivals plan based on visible moves. When signings happen quietly, they disrupt expectations. Opponents prepare for what they can see, not what is hidden. Even internally, players are reminded that competition is constant, that standards are non-negotiable, and that improvement never pauses just because the window feels calm on the surface.